The NFL world was forever changed when Le'Veon Bell got drafted in the second round back in 2013 by the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was the beginning of a journey that felt like it wouldn't ever end, until it did, extremely abruptly. Instead of looking back at Bell's career with fascination and anticipation surrounding a Hall of Fame announcement, we look back to remember what could have been. This is how Le'Veon Bell destroyed his NFL career. As a rookie in the league, Bell immediately became a workhorse back for the Steelers. He took over 240 carries and turned them into 860 yards with 8 touchdowns. The numbers weren't incredible yet, but that changed rather fast. In 3 of the next 4 seasons with the Steelers, Bell eclipsed 1,250 rushing yards. The only season where he wasn't able to surpass that total came when he played just 6 games. This dominant stretch of play put him into conversations of being the best running back in the league, getting named to multiple Pro Bowls, a first-team All-Pro selection, and multiple second-team All-Pro nods. Then, almost as quickly as it began, everything changed in 2018. It was the offseason, and the Steelers hit Bell with the franchise tag for the second consecutive year as they attempted to work through a long-term contract to keep him around. Bell was reportedly looking for a contract that was loaded with guarantees, along with a yearly salary of $17 million per year. At the time, it would have easily made him the highest paid player at his position, even though both Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey have passed that mark since then. But, here's another fun fact for you. Bell's $17 million asking price was outrageous at the time, because the highest paid running back in the NFL, as of 2018, was Devonta Freeman, who was making $8.25 million per year. This means that Le'Veon was asking for over double the highest paid player at his position yearly. And even if he declined and played under the franchise tag that he was given, he'd actually still be making more than Freeman anyway, to be the highest paid player at his position. For those of you who might be wondering why this asking price was so high at the time, Bell's agent stated publicly that they wanted the Steelers to pay the player, and not the position. It was a consistent talking point from them. They felt as though the Steelers wanted to pay what the position asked, while both Bell and his agent wanted him to be paid as both a number 1 running back and a number 2 wide receiver. As you could probably anticipate, Pittsburgh didn't want to accommodate his request immediately, making this dispute drag on way longer than it needed to. In the meantime, Bell skipped out on training camp and all other team activities, stating that he wouldn't show up at all unless it was week 1 of the regular season. Unfortunately, he was being a little generous with that statement, because he held out the entire 2018 season in the hopes of achieving a new deal or leaving entirely. Now, it wasn't exactly surprising though, because Bell previously stated that he would retire if the team gave him the franchise tag, which, well, they did 2 months after that. He toned his threats down over the course of this very long contract dispute, but it was becoming clear that he wasn't going to play for the Steelers anymore, especially if they weren't going to give him the guarantees he wanted, or if they kept handing him the franchise tag. When the NFL's deadline for teams to sign their franchise-tagged players came along, Pittsburgh swallowed their pride and offered Bell a massive $70 million contract worth $14.5 million per year. It was supposed to be over the course of 5 years, with around $33 million guaranteed in the first 2. The back 2 years of this contract didn't have much of anything guaranteed, which also wasn't exactly surprising given the position that was being paid here. Pittsburgh isn't stupid. It's hard to fully guarantee the most replaceable position in the league, especially back in 2018 when this type of money was just laughable for running backs. Even so, they offered at least $6 million more than the next highest paid running back in the league, and Bell turned it down anyway, holding out in the process. As I stated earlier, holding out for the entire 2018 season. By the end of the 2018 campaign, Pittsburgh didn't even bother hitting Bell with another franchise tag, cutting all negotiations for the most part. It wasn't until later that he agreed to a 4-year, $52.5 million contract with the New York Jets, with $35 million of it being guaranteed. He became the second highest paid player at his position with this deal. And it's kind of funny when you think about it. He denied $15 million a year, didn't want to be the highest paid player at his position, and chose to sit out a full season, just to sign a worse deal for a team that hadn't made the playoffs in years. In my personal opinion, this has to be one of the dumbest moves I've seen an athlete make. He gambled on himself, dropped his own value by sitting out because he wasn't in shape, and agreed to less than what was previously offered him. I am getting, some serious, heavy Dennis Schroeder vibes here, and if you don't get the reference, that's fine. I'll throw a small headline on the screen here so you can pick up on it. When Le'Veon Bell went to the Jets, his first season with them was miserable. The team wasn't good. and Bell averaged only 3.2 yards per carry, rushing for 789 yards and scoring just 3 touchdowns. It was an absolute disaster of a comeback year for him, but the hope was that he might even shake off the rust in 2020, which was the following year. He did not. He played just 2 games the following season before his Jets tenure came to an end entirely. That same season, he hopped onto the Kansas City Chiefs train, appearing in 9 games and rushing for 254 yards and 2 touchdowns, but the team didn't bother retaining him in the following offseason, leaving him to join the Baltimore Ravens in 2021. He appeared in 5 games for Baltimore, rushing 31 times for 83 yards and 2 touchdowns, then got dumped off once again. And finally, to cap off that 2021 season and essentially his career, he was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He played only 3 games, rushed 8 times, and totaled just 18 yards. It was an incredibly sad end to a running back that could have been one of the best in the league for a couple extra years. Now, in 2025, Bell has been pretty open about his regrets regarding how the whole situation played out. Back in 2023, he openly admitted that it was a little petty on his half for sitting out regarding the guarantees on his contract. To quote him, he said, "We kept going back and forth. It literally was the guarantee. They weren't budging off of it, and I wasn't budging off of it. I didn't want to leave Pittsburgh. At the end of the day, that's where I was at. That's where I got drafted at, especially after going to different teams and seeing how it is. When a team has their guy, you're their guy. I was Pittsburgh's guy." He later talked about how he never officially retired and would like to get a few snaps in a preseason game to kind of show what he could still do in a football field, while also wanting to retire officially as a Steeler. Unfortunately, with neither of those things happening, and us being 2 years removed from his comments, we're at a point in time where it's likely not going to happen. With Bell now looking more towards his boxing career, I guess, and other activities than a life in the NFL. Let me know down below in the comments if you would have taken the offer that Pittsburgh gave Bell if you were in his position. And as always, be sure to subscribe and leave a like on this video to let me know that you enjoyed it. With all that being said though, I hope to see all of you in the next one.